Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us today. My name is Patrick Sullivan, and I'm the President and CEO of the Halifax Chamber of Commerce. I would like to thank first the father and son drummers for that incredible performance and for welcoming us in. Thank you very much to Wayne Hamilton and his son Khalifa, and they've done workshops and performed at venues across Nova Scotia. They're also part of a drum ensemble, somebody help me with that? No, ensemble, let's go with that, called Drummers from Home. So keep an eye out for them this summer. They did ask if I could drum today, but since I have zero musical talent, they felt that I would be wasted. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are speaking from Halifax, which is in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and traditional lands of the Mi'kmaq people. I acknowledge the peace and friendship treaties signed in this territory and recognize that we are all treaty people. We will be joined in a few moments by Elder Debbie Eisen for an opening prayer. I also wanted to mention that today, April 28th, is the National Day of Mourning for injured and killed workers. So just wanted to mention that. There was a ceremony at Province House this morning, a moment of silence at 11 o'clock. And you may or may not know there were 20 workers that passed away at workplaces in Nova Scotia just last year. So please keep them and their families in your thoughts. And I would encourage all of you to keep your workplaces safe and your employees safer if you can, please. Thank you all for being here today. We're really looking forward to hearing from Mayor Mike Savage on how Halifax is doing. And as we saw the pandemic impact every part of our lives over the last 2 years, I know it's been very, very difficult for so many of you. As I was driving down this morning I was actually thinking about my wife's birthday, which is this weekend, and all the things I still have to do, and linked in the pandemic, and thought how crazy we used to be to put a birthday cake out, blow on it, and then expect people to eat it. So I think that's over for all of us. I know it's over for me, so maybe they could blow on one candle that they're holding in their hands. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this in-person event. The last time we had this event was in 2019. So a long time ago. Here we are in 2022. The mayor is still the mayor. And he's still the same guy, but I know he's going to have a great different story for us all today. It is National Volunteer Week, and I also wanted to thank my volunteer board of directors, many of whom are here today, led most recently by Mark Sidebottom as chair, and now by our new chair, Faten Al-Shazli. There we go, Faten, yes. And thank the board, and of course all of our members for your great support over the last couple of years. I want to also welcome my co-host today, Wendy Luther, CEO of the Halifax Partnership, and Wendy will be joining us up here shortly. And while restrictions are lifted, we would still encourage you to follow health guidelines or suggestions, and those include you should wear a mask when you can, you should use your elbows or shoulders or something, maybe not shoulders, sounds too close, instead of handshakes, and try to maintain physical distancing if you can. Today, we've tried to put a little more distance between the tables. If you do get up and walk out at some point to go to the washroom, encourage you to put a mask on, all of those kinds of things. I'd like to now invite Elder Debbie Eisen to the stage for an opening prayer and teaching. Debbie.
Well, I'd like to say good morning, but we're close to lunch, so I think I'm going to say good brunch to everyone today. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This territory was covered by the treaties of the peace and friendship, which the Mi'kmaq and Maliseet people first signed with the British Crown in 1725. The treaties did not deal with the surrender of lands and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq and Maliseet title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. I am so very honored to be here today with all of you, and I honestly, since 2019, since Maui Dodgic 2019, I haven't been in a room with so many people all at the same time. So I'm very pleased that we're moving down the pipeline and slowly coming together in a safe way. So for those of you who don't know me, I am not Mi'kmaq. I'm an Anishinaabe Native woman originally from Batchewana First Nation by Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. I joined the military when I was 17 years old, and 2 weeks into my basic training, I fell in love with a pair of beautiful blue eyes who happened to be here from Halifax and Jabuktuk. And when he brought me here to this beautiful city, I decided that this is the place that I wanted to live for the rest of my life. So here I am. Jabuktuk and the Mi'kmaq people keep me here, but also my 5 grandchildren who are in this territory. So to begin, I would like to start off before I do my opening prayer with a little bit of a teaching. And I've been thinking about what I wanted to share with you. And I thought something along the lines of the 7 grandfather teachings. If you will indulge me, I will share those teachings with you. The first one is love. The eagle represents love because of its unique relationship with the Creator. Only the eagle has the ability and strength to fly higher than any other animal, thereby placing it closest to the Creator than all others. We pray for our leadership here in Jabuktuk, that they continue to understand and recognize the love that we have for our families and our communities. The second is respect. The buffalo represents respect because as long as we have been here, we have sustained our lives through the buffalo in terms of clothing, food, shelter, medicine, and art. We pray for our leadership here in Jabuktuk, that they continue to have respect for all of us, including our cultures, our spirituality, our needs, our families, and our communities. The third one is courage. The bear represents courage because of its strength and natural ability to overcome challenges. A mother bear will stand against a much larger, stronger male bear or any other animal to protect her cubs. We pray that our leadership have the courage to stand up and believe in what is needed and listen to the requirements of our community members. The next is wisdom. The beaver represents wisdom because it utilizes its gifts in ways that promote wellness for itself and its family. We pray for our leadership here in Jabuktuk to continue to have the wisdom and knowledge to accomplish the work that they are so dedicated and committed to. The next is humility. The wolf represents humility because of its giving nature and devotion to protecting and the working of the good of the wolf family. The wolf places the welfare of the pack above its own. We pray for our leadership here in Jabuktuk to have humility and, like the wolf, to be placed the people and its community above their own actions. Next is honesty. The Sabe represents honesty because it is closer to the Creator than to humans. It is believed that the Sabe used to walk among humans to remind us of the Creator's wish for us to remain true to ourselves and to our natural form. We pray for our leadership in Jabuktuk to continue to be honest, not only with our community, but also to themselves. And lastly, truth. Truth is to know and understand all the 7 teachings given to us by the Creator and to remain faithful to them. The turtle represents truth because it is one of the oldest animals on our planet, and it is said to have witnessed creation. The turtle is grounded, methodical, careful, and attentive to detail, important qualities for those who speak the truth. We pray for our leadership to continue to be grounded, methodical, careful, and attentive to details. But we also pray that all of us here understand that our leadership is also human. With that, I would like to now offer an opening prayer for the event today, and I will pray in my way, but I invite each and every one of you here to pray in your own way. Ani bujo nanate makus and dejanakas no me anganawe and ishnabe kwe bachawana. Creator, we thank you for this beautiful sunshine and fresh air that you have given us today. The sunshine helps us to ignite the fire in our bellies to move ahead with yet another day. And this beautiful fresh air helps to cleanse Mother Earth of her toxins. We pray, Creator, for those men and women who are sick and need your help and strength and guidance in the days ahead, and for our loved ones and those family members who are preparing themselves for their final journey to you. We pray that you welcome them and receive them with open arms. We pray, Creator, for those men, those women, and those children in the Ukraine who so desperately need your help and guidance and strength and love in the days ahead. And for the men and women here in Jabuktuk who work so tirelessly to help protect us from this disease we call COVID. Keep them safe and free from harm. And lastly, Creator, for our veterans, those men and women who are far from home, protecting our way of life here on Turtle Island. Keep them safe and free from harm till they return back to Turtle Island and back to the loving arms of their family and their friends. Taho miigwech, aha. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much, Debbie. That was a wonderful way to start, and I very much appreciate the teachings and the blessing. Thank you very much. Well, today's event would not have been possible without our partners, RBC and Discover Halifax. Thank you both for your support. Our partners, oh, thank you. There we go. Sorry, Emma, just a note, next time put pause after that, okay? It's just, okay. So our partners have chosen the Canadian Ukraine Foundation as their charity of choice for today's event. Thank you very much to our partners for supporting this organization and its important work, as Debbie mentioned. And thank you very much to our co-hosts at the Halifax Partnership. 2021 and early 2022 have been another tough year and a bit for our business community. It's been especially difficult for those in hard-hit sectors like tourism, hospitality, and the arts. Our municipal 2022-2023 budget submission focused on costs, housing, and support for our business sector. It also provided recommendations to improve the business environment as we enter what we hope will be the recovery phase. You can view it at Halifax Chamber's website under Advocacy in our Policy Library. In discussions with our members, several key themes emerged and continues to be discussed, including taxes at all levels, commercial tax reform, and of course, housing. These issues have an impact on our members, their budgets, membership business plans, and growth in the Halifax Regional Municipality. Just like in 2021, many of our members are still facing the financial impacts of COVID-19, and they will have difficulty handling increasing tax rates. I know that whenever I read in the media, and often when I read some of the takes about tax increases, they often refer to residential increases in the average of $94. That is an expected increase for next year. But let's not forget, and I'm sure many of the people in this room would know, that the commercial increase will be almost $2,000 per business. And this is a significant amount for any business. And 2,000 is likely a modest estimate, and it's clearly very difficult as we're still heading out of a COVID period. We're encouraged to see that the municipality is seeking to improve the taxation system for our small and medium-sized businesses and look forward to more progress there. The Halifax Chamber has long been a tireless advocate of our city, and we're seeing unprecedented population and business growth as the world has come to see Halifax and Nova Scotia as the incredible places we know they are, full of opportunity in which to work, live, and raise a family. Our region has never had the global visibility it gained during COVID-19 as a safe and desirable place to live and work. All sectors, from government to healthcare to manufacturing and high tech, continue to aggressively promote this region as a growing city full of opportunity and quality of life, which is absolutely true. But as we grow, businesses need people, and these people need places to live. The housing shortage manifested itself during COVID-19, particularly in the affordable housing area. But in the larger context of economic recovery and future economic growth, affordable housing is only one component of the housing crisis now facing Halifax. Everything on the housing topic, from emergency shelters to the number of new homes, needs to be an area of focus to ensure that our city has sustainable and inclusive growth. Very pleased to see Minister John Lohr here with us today. The data has shown us for over 6 years that we'd likely face a housing shortage as we were not building to the growth of our city. And we've now got a housing gap of approximately 12,000 housing units, according to the municipality's own numbers. It's the Chamber's belief that although we're approving approximately 4,000 building permits a year, we need to approve approximately 11,000, almost 2.5 times. Almost 3 times, building permits for the next number of years, the next 5 years, to just meet the housing need and the expected growth that we're going to see. And Wendy's going to talk about in the Halifax Partnership's new strategic plan. I can't help but bring up the capped assessment program, although not a municipal responsibility. I'm going to take every chance I can. And the impacts are certainly felt by municipalities across the province and by young people buying their first house or renters where the cap doesn't govern them. For many, business has resumed. Unfortunately for some, especially in tourism and hospitality, the impacts of COVID-19 are far from over. Those businesses and all businesses continue to need support from all levels of government and from all of us, all Nova Scotians. The Halifax Chamber, through the Nova Scotia Business Labour Economic Coalition, or as we affectionately refer to it, NSBLEC, is heartened to see the city reaching out through Discover Halifax and the Halifax Partnership to determine what the city can tangibly do to assist the business community and for their recommendations for programs, services, and funding options that can assist them through what we hope will soon be an endemic portion of the pandemic. The municipality has been a very supportive partner over the last 2 years for the business community. And with NSBLEC, Mayor Savage attended, in fact, most of our over 135 meetings. And we hope that this partnership will continue to provide thoughtful and innovative support for our business community. The business community needs a government that is supportive of business, provides a transparent and open environment, and plans for everyone who chooses to call Halifax home. By applying the recommendations provided in the Halifax Chamber pre-budget submission, we believe that not only can the business to government relationship grow, but also the number of businesses that are created, opened, and run by our local community will increase. Thank you to all our members who provided feedback for our recommendations to the city. And now please join me in welcoming Wendy Luther, CEO of the Halifax Partnership, to the stage. Wendy.
Wow, so wonderful to see you all here in person. Thank you, Patrick. We're delighted to once again be co-hosting this important event with the Chamber. And this is my favorite event of the year. I love hearing the Mayor share his optimism for the potential of our city. And that's exactly what you're going to hear here in a moment. I'm Wendy Luther, President and CEO of Halifax Partnership, Halifax's public-private economic development organization. And as a public-private organization, we're funded by all 3 orders of government and our community of over 100 private sector and post-secondary investors that fund us, that govern us, and that help us and guide our work. So thank you to our many investors and board members in the room with us today. We could not do our work without you. At Halifax Partnership, we settle for nothing less than a vibrant and successful Halifax. And with that goal in mind, the partnership and HRM have just launched People, Planet, Prosperity, Halifax's inclusive economic strategy for 2022 to 2027. Many of you helped develop the strategy and launched it with us 2 weeks ago. Thank you for your contributions to this important work. Our city has come a long way since the last strategy was developed in 2015. This new strategy will leverage Halifax's strengths and build upon lessons learned from the pandemic to create a more vibrant and resilient Halifax. This includes tackling growing pains, such as increased pressures on housing and transportation, while seizing opportunities to grow Halifax's green economy. But perhaps most importantly, a focus on inclusive economic growth that ensures everyone can contribute to and benefit from Halifax's success is fundamental value of the new strategy. And this is the lens through which all 73 actions will be implemented. Over the next 5 years, People, Planet, Prosperity will guide us towards a prosperous and growing Halifax that puts the well-being of people and planet first. But the ability to deliver on that promise depends on all of us working together, and the private sector has a significant role to play. Halifax business leaders, I invite you to partner with us as we begin to implement this new inclusive strategy. Please have a look at the brochure on your table and download the strategy from our website at halifaxpartnership.com. Take a moment to think about which goals and actions might align with your own, and reach out to us to bring your ideas and your resources to the table and work with us to contribute to Halifax's future success. How can you get involved today? Well, here are 3 ways to start. You may have met my connector team colleagues as you came in the room. If you're not already a connector, I encourage you and your teams to get involved. And we have 2 of our supporters who make this possible, RBC in the province of Nova Scotia, who help support and fund this award-winning program. Thank you. Now, this program and your involvement will help keep newcomers and recent grads in our communities and connect your business to the talent you need to grow. More information is on your table. Number 2, startups and scale-ups are the future of our business community. Giving founders the gift of your mentorship and being an early adopter of their products and services will go a long way to ensuring the success of these innovative businesses. I look forward to connecting you with Patrick Farrar, our Director, Innovation Halifax, to learn more. And third, to ensure we have smart young minds working to help address the challenges and opportunities our city faces, we are standing up an inaugural Emerging Leaders and Innovators Advisory Board. Thank you very much, Don Altine, to the chair of our governance committee for your leadership on this, and our board chair, Rob Carruthers. Now, if you're a Halifax Partnership investor, you have the nominations package in your inbox. And if you're not yet an investor, please reach out to me and consider nominating one of your rising stars. Halifax is the fastest growing city in Canada with the fastest growing downtown. Halifax offers a quality of life that is unmatched across our urban, suburban, and rural communities. And more people are discovering the benefits our city has to offer. As leaders, we all have work to do to realize our city's full potential, and I'm looking forward to doing this work with you. Thank you so much, and enjoy your lunch, and enjoy each other's company. It's been a while. Cheers, thank you. I almost ran away and left my duties behind because I was so excited to say hi to some of our friends, colleagues, board members all over this room. It just warms my heart to see you all together and having such a great time. And I hope that you all enjoyed your meal. Now, it is my pleasure to invite, you can clap for any or all of that. And now, here's something to clap for. It's my pleasure to invite Vanita Savani, Regional President, Atlantic Canada, RBC, to join us on stage. Now, RBC has been a private sector investor with Halifax Partnership since our inception over 25 years ago. RBC demonstrates their leadership in our community daily through the support of small, medium, and large companies numerous diversity and inclusion initiatives, and a passionate commitment to helping keep and grow young talent in our region. They've also been a proud sponsor of this event since 2012. Since joining RBC in 1997, Venita has held a wide range of diverse roles in branch sales, finance, procurement, Canadian banking strategy, group risk management, home equity finance, personal savings, and investments. Before really the cherry on top, moving here to Halifax last year. Now, I am grateful to have Venita's leadership on the Halifax Partnership Board of Directors and our Audit and Risk Committee, and to have the RBC's team active involvement and support of the award-winning Connector program and African Nova Scotia Road to Economic Prosperity work. Now, Venita, Halifax was really good before, but it's even better with you and your family here with us. Thank you so much for choosing Halifax and Atlantic Canada as your home. Over to you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for that warm welcome and introduction, Wendy, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm so pleased to be here today representing over 1,000 RBC employees that we have here in Halifax, and I'd like to send a shout out to the team in the audience today. As many of you know, almost 1 year ago, I moved to Halifax to take on the role of Regional President for Atlantic Canada. And despite being in the middle of a pandemic, I have to tell you, when I was asked to take on this opportunity, I was just thrilled. To lead an amazing team of employees who serve our customers each and every day, and to live in one of the most livable and beautiful parts of Canada is very, very special. It's also very humbling knowing that RBC has such a strong history in Halifax, with our roots starting here over 158 years ago. Halifax is a great center for growth and innovation, and it's why we continue to look at ways to expand our presence here. In fact, we recently opened up our newest branch in Halifax just last week at Dalhousie University in the Dalplex, and I'd like to thank Mayor Savage for joining us last week for our opening celebration. This is our first on-campus branch in the Maritimes, and we're excited about the difference it is already making for students around financial literacy. I'd also like to give a shout out to NSCC and our 3 universities in Halifax. The students graduating from those institutions are critical to companies like us growing and increasing our presence in the city. Take our Global Shared Services Center in Bedford. It's grown from a few teams that totaled 150 people to 19 teams and over 675 employees. We continue to hire for RBC specialized tech and innovation roles. And by any chance, if you're looking for work in this field, or if you have kids looking for exciting high-tech jobs, be sure to check out the roles that are available there at jobs.rbc.com. And of course, please feel welcome to engage with our team that's here today with us. It takes many things to make a city successful. Excellent post-secondary institutions is one, as they provide the educated workforce that employers are looking for. And of course, an engaged and caring business community is another. And from the sold-out room that we have today, I think it's fair to say that we here have this in spades. But one of the most important things is solid, visionary, and proven leadership. While my job is to introduce today's guest speaker, who is our city's leader, I'll bet there's not one person in this room who is not familiar with his many accomplishments. He is a skilled politician, a proven team builder, and a committed volunteer. A dedicated ambassador for the city, he positively profiles Halifax at every opportunity. And I have to say, from my own personal experience, he embraces new leaders and inspires us to be deeply engaged and invested in the HRM community. The past few years haven't been easy for any one of us, and this is also true of City Hall. During the pandemic, the rest of Canada and beyond have come to recognize the enviable way of life we have here on the East Coast. And though we welcome more people moving to Halifax and Nova Scotia, this growth presents new and a different set of challenges. From what I've seen so far, the Mayor and the entire HR team are working hard to address these challenges and offer positive solutions while keeping our collective best interests at heart. This is such an important quality in our community leadership. And though I know Mayor Savage is an extremely busy person, From what I've heard, and more so from what I've seen, he makes himself very accessible, which is just one of the many attributes that make him a remarkable and thoughtful person who is deeply invested in making this a great place to live. All that to say that he is an authentic leader, and we are so fortunate to have him guiding our city. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a very warm welcome to our Mayor, Mike Savage.
Thank you very much, Vanita. I want to begin by acknowledging that we're in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. This part of Mi'kma'ki is known as Jabuktuk, the Great Harbor, and I want to acknowledge, as Elder Debbie did, the importance of the peace and friendship treaties that were signed centuries ago. I want to thank the Chamber and Patrick. I want to thank Wendy. I want to thank Ross and his team and everybody who've put this event together today. I want to acknowledge the presence of John Lohr. I invited Minister Lohr to come, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, and I very much appreciate that Minister Lohr took the time to be with us today. In fact, there's all kinds of people here I'm happy to see. My wife is here, which is awesome to me. My beautiful daughter, I should say my beautiful wife and my beautiful daughter are here, Emma. And my son would be here if it didn't conflict with the opening day of Brightwood Golf and Country Club. See, he loves me and doesn't love me that much. This is my 10th annual State of the Municipality address. And for every one of them, RBC has been involved in sponsoring it. And we've had the pleasure of getting to know Vanita a little bit and her team in the last little while. And I thank you very much for your continued support, doing so much in our community, and to all of our sponsors today. It's been a couple of challenging years, folks. Has it? Yeah. It's so nice to see so many people here today and in person. And I'm particularly delighted to see my council colleagues. A number of my council colleagues are here with me today. Maybe they could just stand up for a second, if they would. Members of council, scattered throughout the room. Deputy Mayor Lovelace and so many others. You know, they've worked so hard. It's been an exceptionally challenging time for all of us, but when you get elected and all of a sudden you're in a pandemic and you lack the face-to-face communication and the camaraderie that we normally get, it's a challenge. So for the 8 new members of council, it's been a strange introduction to elected office, full of meetings that look something like this that you're all familiar with. So now Trish Purdy seems pretty animated. Tony Mancini's looking away, checking the Habs score and looking pretty sad. But that's what it's looked like the last little while. On a positive note, half of our council are now women. I think that's pretty cool. To say that the last couple of years have been tough would be such an understatement. Our community has suffered tragic consequences from the pandemic. In addition to the toll of sickness and death, as well as loneliness, our businesses and their employees have struggled with the downturn, the shutdown, and the economic uncertainty. Even as we continue to deal with the virus, we face the ongoing crisis in housing, inflation, higher interest rates, supply chain issues, and labor shortages. In large measure, of course, they're due to the pandemic and also the extraordinary public health restrictions that were required to protect us from its worst impacts. We thank Dr. Strang, as always, for his work. These are, in large measure, caused by the pandemic, and that's just a fact. But societal and geopolitical uncertainty add to the uncertainty and worry about the future. In June of 2020, the brutal murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis shocked the world, forced all of us to take a look at our own history of systemic racism. Today, of course, we grieve the suffering in Ukraine as the immoral, violent invasion of that country continues to unfold before our eyes. It's a terrible thing. Beyond the staggering humanitarian crisis that this is causing, The war will have serious and far-reaching economic and social impacts, affecting trade, food security, and the cost of living. And overarching all these crises is climate change. It's happening now, as erratic weather inflicts havoc upon our environment, our food supply, and our economy. And climate change constitutes the most direct threat to our planet in history. The challenges are global, the impacts are local. How we respond will determine what our city looks like as we emerge from these current trials, and what kind of a city we leave to those who come next. As we navigate uncertain waters, we are committed to the course for this city to be a city of prosperity, of growth, of resilience, and inclusion. Let me be very clear. Our city is realistic about our challenges, encouraged by our progress, and optimistic about our future. In fact, I believe that we can use this time of change to build a Halifax that is stronger, more just and sustainable, as well as more prosperous than ever before. I want to run through a few numbers with you, so I'm going to go quick, so follow this carefully now. Number one, fastest growing city in Canada in 2020, third fastest in 2021, overall the fastest growing city in Canada. Fastest growing downtown in Canada, population increase of 26% in the last 5 years, according to StatsCan. Maclean's Magazine, number one place to live in Canada, tied with another amazing city, Charlottetown, PEI, that some of you may have heard of. So number one out of 415 communities that were surveyed to live in post-pandemic. That's pretty good. 21, that's the number of companies so far, and it may change by the time we finish lunch, Wendy. 21 is the number of new companies that have come during the pandemic. 7 on the top 25 tech talent centers to watch in North America, according to the CBRE Tech Talent Scorecard. First in the country in year-over-year labor force participation growth in 2020 and 21. 9,300 folks, 9,300 people moved to Halifax last year, a growth rate of 2.1% in a pandemic. Amazing. 5,594 over on the side. That is the number of people who moved to Halifax from other provinces in Canada last year. And if you look at the circle on the bottom, the green is the net interprovincial growth. For most of the decade, we saw a loss in net population in that category. And now it's unbelievable. Almost 2,600 people came from around the world to Halifax last year, even with closed borders and the pandemic. 3,817 is a number I want you to pay attention to. That's the number of 15 to 34-year-olds that moved to Halifax in 2021. It's now our fastest growing demographic. You remember when that age demographic was 96 plus? It wasn't 96 plus, but it was a little bit older, more like where I am now. That is our fastest growing demographic. And you might have seen, we call this the mayor's favorite stat. You might have seen today in all Nova Scotia that while Nova Scotia's average median age has gone up a little bit again this year, Halifax is getting younger, with the median age dropping from 41.2 to 40.4, just nosing me out of that category. 34,500 post-secondary students, a record student population. Here's a number we don't like, and it may be optimistic even at 1%. That's the residential vacancy rate, according to CMHC. That's not good. 0, sometimes not a good number. In this case, it is. That's what it costs for a permit for a patio this year, so that we can assist our downtown and other areas, businesses, get ready for the summer. Here's one you may have seen. I was in Mexico when I saw this on Twitter, and I didn't really understand it at first. Number 1 for the world's longest ever traffic jam for a fried chicken sandwich. When Popeyes, which is named after the mayor, was opened in Bedford. 60 electric buses in our first wave of electrification. 1,100 is our target for EV charges by 2030 under the Halifax Climate Plan. That's a big number. And I want to leave you with a number that just almost makes me cry. I'm so happy about it, which is we were the first city in Canada to be recognized last month by the UN High Commission on Refugees as the welcoming city for refugees. I don't know if Jen or her team from ISENS are with us, but those are the kind of folks that make this happen. The numbers indicate that we've built a city where people want to live, where they want to study, where they want to invest, and where they want to visit. It's remarkable to me that even during a pandemic, Wendy or Nancy Phillips and I were on calls with people from around the world wanting to come to Halifax. Companies like Intellireef, who have found both expertise and testing grounds for waters for their engineered coral reefs at Cove, or Cognizant, who have found smart, educated people to develop business support programs for an international market. You see, these are just a couple of the companies, amazing companies that are investing here, hiring our young people, and exporting their product and expertise to the world, something Red Space has done for years and continues to ramp up to do. I want to mention the Port of Halifax. It continues to service some of the largest ships in the world, to move cargo and to employ thousands of people along the supply chain. Now, PSA Halifax's decision, which we supported at the city, to take on operation of both container terminals, I think will optimize our capacity, improve our service, and our competitive position worldwide. So congratulations to PSA and also to Captain Alan Gray and the team at the Port of Halifax on their success. And just 2 days ago, this bad boy, the Ocean Navigator, sailed into Halifax Harbor. Looks like Theodore Tugboat. That's a cruise ship. Sailed in this week to Halifax Harbor, which launches our first cruise ship season in a couple of years. Halifax Airport, I know Joyce is here. The Halifax International Airport is seeing business take off with more airlines serving new and returning routes as people start to travel again. We're so proud of that award-winning airport, and I thank Joyce Carter and her team. And she just told me that they're up to 2.6 anticipated million passengers. It was 1 million last year, so at this rate, the whole world would be here. Air access is critical to our tourism business, who have suffered heartbreaking loss over the past 2 years, after 6 consecutive years of record growth. Now, we're going to hear from Roscoe P. Jefferson, call him that, it drives him crazy, and his Discover Halifax crew in a bit on an amazing initiative that they have. They've done so much amazing work on a new initiative under their tourism recovery plan. Stay for that, make sure you don't leave. This summer, with the buskers on the waterfront, the tattoo at Scotiabank Centre, a number of other events, we're going to recover that Halifax summer vibe that we all love. Hats off to our HRM events crew. Hats off to Jen Angel and her amazing leadership at Develop Nova Scotia. Hats off to Discover Halifax. Hats off to our business improvement districts, who are once again pulling together to fill the city with music and entertainment all over the city. It's going to be an awesome, awesome summer. And by the way, as some of you know, anybody go to James Taylor and Jackson Brown the other night? Patty was there, I know that, and Wendy. James Taylor and Jackson Brown came to Halifax. On Monday, Sting is coming. This is, that's supposed to be Sting, but my wife got a hold of my slide deck and put a picture of Jim Cut. Oh, come on. Give me a break. I blame Carrie Cousins for this. Well, I must say she's never looked so happy. That's Jim Cuddy. All right, moving on. This week saw the Colleges and Institutes Canada here for the first national convention of the season, the start of many to come this year. Don Bureau of the college, Alistair Surratt of St. Anne, University of St. Anne, were part of organizing that. And I must say Don was amazing at that event and has done so much work on equity and climate. It's exciting. It's really exciting to see that. This week also, we had the Smart Energy Conference that was hosted by Emera. Mark Sidebottom kicked it off, and Peter Gregg is with us from Nova Scotia Power. I was pleased to take part in that, particularly the Scotch tasting on Monday night. I thought it was really good energy. We're back to hosting and cheering on our favorite teams. Have you missed that a little bit? I got to tell you, I've missed the Halifax Mooseheads, the Halifax Thunderbirds, who just clinched a playoff spot in the last week, and the Halifax Wanderers, who kick off their season on Saturday. That's not something that you want to miss. Think about what the Thunderbirds and the Wanderers have meant to Halifax even during the pandemic in the last few years, the energy and the passion and the beer sales. It has been a great thing for the downtown. International competitions coming here as well, much anticipated. The ICF World Canoe Sprint Championships to be held on beautiful Lake Bannock in Sam Austinville, with a long heritage of really important hosting of international competition. It's going to be awesome. And a World Championship Sailing Regatta is coming to St. Margaret's Bay, first time ever in Canadian waters. More than 400 sailors from so many countries are going to be hosted. 3 Olympic classes will race and enjoy the beautiful hospitality of the Hubbard Sailing Club, the St. Margaret's Sailing Club, and all the people in that area. So, it's a good summer, and we have reason for optimism. In fact, Halifax has seen a lot to be optimistic about. We've seen extraordinary development in the past decade. These images show the dramatic change in our skyline from 2012 to 2020. And already this picture is out of date. It doesn't include Queen's Mark, one of the most amazing developments that we've ever seen in Atlantic Canada, or other projects like the Pearl and the Green Lantern and others. The unprecedented building boom has exceeded all expectation. While the pandemic has undoubtedly impacted labor and supply chains, growth has continued. Just take a quick look at the number of residential units that our team at HRM have received permits in recent years, alongside the actual starts and completions, according to CMHC. This last year, we issued 1,355 more permits than we did in 2018-19. You can see the number of starts and completions lagged a bit, only going up by 578. That's natural and to be expected during a pandemic. But right now, at the end of March, as a matter of fact, there were 6,647 units under construction in HRM. That is not only the most ever, that is the most by a lot. You don't need to see the numbers. You can look around. You can see the construction, and that's great. But it's not enough. If we're to meet the demands of a growing population, we need more. The good news is that we think we can support this growth. Indeed, there's currently 22,000 units under approved development plans right now, actual projects that have been through the approval projects. Now, some of them are multi-year and can't be expected to be built immediately. Others could be impacted by labor supply, increased cost, and other legitimate reasons. With the approval of Centre Plan, which happened in the fall, we've enabled 37,000 as-of-right housing units in our more urbanized neighborhoods, enough to meet the housing needs of more than 85,000 people. That doesn't include large-scale residential projects designated as growth nodes, which are currently receiving accelerated planning attention as they work to bring more than 20,000 more housing units. So think about Micmac Mall, think about the Halifax Shopping Centre Annex, Penhorn Mall, think about Shannon Park. Suburban areas have potential for thousands more units in places like West Bedford and my own area of Port Wallace, where we hope to see shovels in the ground this year. Let me show you this little plan. It may seem a little complicated. This is Carriage Woods Estates in Beaver Bank. This was an area where it was designated for 60-foot lots. The developer, Clayton, wanted to make them 40-foot lots, which would make them more affordable, less infrastructure. It's a good idea. Our staff said it's a good idea. Our council said it's a good idea, and we did it. And that would be 250 units of housing in a nice area for people who need it. Responsibility for moving more housing from plan to project completion rests with us all, private sector and all orders of government. I think that we have the best development community in all of Canada. People who live here, people who are invested in the life of the city, who bike by their own projects, who walk by their own projects, and they build projects that we can all take pride in. We're awaiting details as we speak for the $4 billion federal accelerator housing fund designed to directly assist municipalities increase housing supply. It's going to be a game changer. It will create demands on us as municipalities to do things differently, and we will respond. And of course, late last year, the province struck its housing task force. As I said at the time, I didn't like it, didn't think it was necessary. I still believe professional planning, environmental stewardship, and robust public consultation are fundamental to good development. That said, we're in a housing crisis, and it is time to put aside ego and jurisdiction to find solutions that address both supply and affordability. The province, and I want to thank Minister Lohr for his commitment to respect the regional plan as a model for development approvals. The task force has worked hard, and I want to thank the chair, now I guess Deputy Minister, Jeff McClellan and the team. And I don't know if Kelly Denty and Peter Duncan are here, but if they are, please stand up. Kelly Denty and Peter Duncan from HRM Planning, whose professionalism and leadership are critical to the success of this project. Folks, you couldn't reflect on this year in our municipality without acknowledging the crisis of homelessness, a long-standing issue exacerbated by the pandemic and by the rapid growth of our city. Hundreds of our community members have no opportunity for a decent life if they can't start with at least a roof. As chair of the Big City Mayors Caucus of FCM, I've advocated along with my colleagues for the Rapid Housing Initiative. This Direct to Municipalities program has already been responsible for the creation of 130 units of deeply affordable housing here in our community, and I'm delighted to say it was extended in the budget. These projects, and one of them is you see here, is the Diamond Bailey House with the Mi'kmaq Friendship Center, are under construction now to support the most hard to house and those at risk of homelessness. I want to thank the province again for the vital support that they have given to the rapid housing projects, as well as the additional shelter beds that they have worked on to create, have bought, refurbished, and also the new extreme weather overnight support that we worked on together. I'm heartened that we have worked collaboratively to create these modular housing units on both sides of the harbour to provide simple, dignified, supportive housing for people who need it. And our team again at HRM deserve great credit for their hard work and nimbleness installing and outfitting these houses. John McPherson and his group and many others. And I'm proud of those council members who've never flinched in their support of providing housing for those who need it most. You know, for me, throughout my time in public office, housing and poverty have been a big focus of my attention. In Parliament, I was vice chair of a comprehensive poverty report, of which we were very proud. As mayor, I co-chaired the Poverty Solutions Task Force with the wonderful Sarah Napier. This work has paved the way for many progressive initiatives: free transit for low-income residents, social procurement policy, food security initiatives supporting things like the Halifax Food Policy Alliance and a food charter, and a living wage policy introduced by Councillor Smith. The poverty work highlighted as well the need for new approaches to affordable housing, like inclusionary zoning, which the province has granted us and for which we're also grateful, and backyard suites, which are now policy of the City of Halifax. The pandemic created some disparities in the world, but even more, it shone a disquieting light on other long-standing issues of equity and social inclusion. We should all take this personally. I do. My council colleagues do. And I think the community does as well. That's why I'm so proud of our new economic growth plan: people, planet, prosperity. The new 5-year plan recognizes that true success must respect our environment, must bring more people into the success of our growing city. The Halifax Partnership have shown vision and determination in guiding the strategy to completion. Through the leadership of Wendy and her partnership team, Corey Bell of Lindsay's, who, by the way, was in the Bell Centre for that tribute to Guy Lafleur, if any of you saw that. That must have been something, Corey. In fact, some people said they were chanting Corey, Corey, not Guy, Guy. But anyway, I don't leave that to you to decide. The board of the partnership, chaired by Rob Carruthers, along with council, which once again supported this unanimously every step of the way. Many more participated, many in this room participated in the creation of this roadmap for the next 5 years. I think we laid a foundation for some of this work through initiatives including the mayor's working groups in 3 areas: green economy, transportation and logistics, and attainable housing. Because together we are focused on making sure that we are not just a bigger city, but a better city. This means recognizing as well and understanding and working together to remove historic and systemic barriers to educational and employment opportunities. With the road to economic prosperity for African Nova Scotian communities, we at long last have a serious approach to economic equity. An integral piece of our economic plan It's the result of many deep conversations within 11 historic African Nova Scotian communities, under the skilled guidance of Carol Ann Wright and community leaders like Dolly Williams and Irving Carvery. It emphasizes the importance of land ownership and improvement of education, employment, and entrepreneurship opportunities. And even as we work to redress historic imbalance, we have to acknowledge that we can't continue to grow by simply doing what we've done for the past 20 years or so. We need to anticipate and prepare for the needs of the next 20 years and beyond. And that takes us, inevitably, to climate change. Certainly, it can feel like the world is closing in on us. When I represented Canadian cities at COP26 in Glasgow in November, I was so proud to have the opportunity to discuss our landmark Halifax plan. It is the product of dedicated efforts of hundreds of people, again, many in this room. It's our plan to cope with, and as much as possible, reduce the impacts of climate change. Beyond that, it points to the economic opportunity from clean and green technology. I want to thank Shannon Miedema, who many of you know, of our staff, who has done amazing work with her team in producing this plan. Some may say that we should wait for a better time to start funding the plan. Well, that better time was decades ago. The next best time, and possibly our last opportunity, is now. Because real efforts to address climate change cost. Deep energy retrofits, the electrification of transit and other fleet, installation of EV charging networks, nature-based solutions. These are investments, and they will deliver a return and a lasting benefit to our economy. The bottom line is, we can't afford to wait anymore. To appreciate our municipal objectives through a single project, I encourage you to go a few blocks northeast where the Cogswell project is underway. This project exemplifies the integrated approach we take to community planning. We're creating a new neighborhood district, reconnecting the north and south ends of the peninsula. This is going to be a neighborhood with a mix of housing. This is going to be a neighborhood where inclusiveness goes beyond symbols and words, with a commitment, an opportunity for equity-seeking groups in the construction workforce. It will be a neighborhood where a district energy system provides renewable energy from a wastewater treatment facility. This is going to be a neighborhood, the first major project in Canada, that meets the Rick Hansen gold standard for accessibility, where people can roll or cycle or walk. This will be a neighborhood where people will live and work and play. This will be a neighborhood where people will thrive. And I got to say, our partners Dexter have scoured the world to get the best talent for heavy machinery operation, and they have brought some amazing people to this job. 10 years ago, I asked the people of Halifax to give me the honor of being their mayor. I never believed I would be here nearly 10 years later, because to me, success in politics is not about longevity, it's about impact. And we have made an impact, and we have come a long way. The images and the numbers that we've talked about today tell a story of a growing, vibrant Halifax region, urban, suburban, and rural. But there is something more personal at work here. I imagine we all experience those little moments that validate the work that we have done together and reinforce our optimism for the future. Like the first time somebody said to me, "You know, Mayor, we have reversed the going down the road. We're now more the destination for young people than we are the departure point." Or having my own kids and friends' kids, like my godson, Mike Shoveler, who's in the room today, just started a new job, grew up in Ottawa, couldn't wait to get back to Halifax. Good to have him here. When people like that say, "My future is in this city," when I hear a language on the streets of Halifax that I've never heard before, when I see 500 boisterous new international students come to rapt attention to listen to the honor song performed by a Mi'kmaq elder, when I see a restaurant that had to close during COVID open a community kitchen to feed others, when I see neighborhoods open their hearts and their homes to Ukrainian families and help them find job opportunities. These are the moments that bring to life the images and the numbers. These are the moments that make me smile and make me feel pride, not for myself, but for us. Because I believe that Halifax is a city for today, but even more, a city for tomorrow. A city for those who've been here for centuries, and a city for those who are just arriving today. More and more, we are building a city for everybody. And the work continues. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Walaliak.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor. That was a great presentation. We live in a great city that has a lot happening, so very much appreciate that. We're a little short on time. There's still lots after me, so when I stop talking, I don't want you to all run out of the room. In fact, you'll probably be happy when I stop talking, but there are a couple of folks after me. We'll get Wendy and Ross up here, so I just don't want folks to think when I sit down that it's over. But I do have a couple of questions for you, so I'm going to toss out a couple of quick questions. So you remember almost a year ago when we started doing rapid testing in this building.
Yes.
You came in, and I was the one that gave you a nasal pharyngeal swab.
Yes.
In your nose.
Yes. Sorry.
To the back of your head.
It's just healed this last week.
And you cried a little. You cried a little. And
I thought it was a little excessive, yeah.
I just wanted to say, was it really that bad?
It was great, and that you were doing that is awesome. And that this facility, which couldn't host events, was doing testing and was doing vaccines and stuff like that, is a mark of success. This building is a game changer for the city of Halifax and the region, and I really appreciate the leadership. Thank you for that.
Okay. So a few quick questions. Sorry, I'm just getting a call from the spa where my wife is getting her.
Is that your wife?
Well, no, it's not. Sorry, no.
Hello? Yes. No, Patrick's at the microphone right now. Sorry.
There you go. That's great.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Prime Minister. I'll get him to call you
Okay.
back.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So a couple of quick questions. Let's get back to Halifax. I appreciate the presentation, and I think everyone in this room would agree that there is something that needs to be done, and we agree with the Halifax report. But I would come back to, was it time this year for a 3% increase? And isn't there some support that we should expect from the feds or the province for the municipality that could offset some of those costs rather than the citizens of Halifax or the commercial businesses in Halifax bearing a lot of that cost?
There absolutely is. Our first wave of electrification of buses and the transformation of the Ragged Lake Terminal is a $130 million project, about 40-some million of which is paid for by the feds, 30 million of which is paid by the province. We need that. There is infrastructure funds available for that. The last 5 years, the increases of property tax in Halifax have been 1%, 1.4%, 2.3%, and 1.5%, below the cost of living. We've had among the lowest tax increases in the country. I think only Quebec City competes with us in terms of the big city mayors. We've kept taxes down. There's councillors in this room today who would say we should have raised taxes more, and then it wouldn't have been such a shock. That's possible, but to me, you don't raise taxes when you can, you raise taxes when you need to. And I really believe that this is the time to invest in climate solutions, because it will make a big difference in years to come. I recognize the hardship, for sure, and especially in commercial taxpayers. But I'm resolute in my belief that we've got to address this. If we don't, we're done for.
Okay, thank you. Jumping onto housing supply, you are chair of the Big City Mayor's Caucus. As you would probably tell us, this is an issue right across the country. In almost every city, we're seeing housing supply as an issue. Are you seeing any proposed solutions nationally that we could adopt in Halifax that could assist in housing supply?
Well, there's a number of solutions. Different cities are certainly taking on housing supply. The key for housing for us is it's attainable housing. Don't forget homelessness, though. Let's not forget there are people who need support, and the feds have been very supportive of that, as the province has recently as well, because I believe successive governments in this province haven't taken housing as seriously as they should. A couple of years ago, we had a motion before council suggesting we should propose to take over housing. Now, that wasn't something I want to do, but it was to make a point that not enough was being done, and I must give this government some credit for taking real action on housing. We're looking forward to the Accelerator Fund. That's $4 billion. If you look at the gas tax, it's $2.5 billion, and we get $26 billion of that. There's a real potential there. The feds recognize that municipalities need help. It could be in technology, it could be in adding planners and things like that. But I think we're all trying to figure out the best piece. We're not the first city that's had something like the Housing Task Force. Ontario's had municipal zone MPZs or something for a number of of years. The key is that we all have to work together. We all have to recognize that there's things we like, there's things we don't like. I don't agree with Minister Laura on everything, but we've been at a press conference together, and on those things we do agree. We'll work together, and that is that we need help. We have to do it together. And so we'll learn from anybody we possibly can, and I think that everybody recognizes that it's a crisis right across the country.
Okay, final question. Canada's downtowns are the lifeblood of the largest cities and have been decimated to a large extent by COVID. What more can the city do to revitalize the downtown core and get more people working, living, and enjoying what the downtown has to offer?
So COVID hits home for me because I was usually the only person at City Hall. It was safe for me to go into the office when people were working from home. But when I came out of City Hall and walked down Argyle Street, it was very sad over COVID to see, this time of year when the decks are opening, that wasn't happening. And so we did what we could to make sure that businesses had an opportunity. So, for example, we mentioned, no patio fees. May seem like a small thing. For businesses, it meant a fair bit. Do you remember closing down the street between McKelvey's and the Triangle? Things like that, which I'm hoping that we're going to do again this year. Working with the business improvement districts, creating life. I mean, Halifax City Hall last year was wonderful with the big stage up all year. These are the things we can do to try to help the downtowns. And I got to say, the bids have been really, really nimble, all of the bids. Paul is probably here, maybe Timmy's here. I don't know if Sue and everybody else are here today, but we've tried to listen and say, what is it you need that we can do? Thank God we did Argyle Street when we did. It's awesome. We did Spring Garden Road last year. That's going to be awesome as well. So anything we can do within our power to help those communities, not just in the downtown, but you think of Spryfield, think of Fairview, think of Bedford and so many other places with great, great business districts. And we've tried to work with them as well as we possibly can. And we will continue to do that. And how about a round of applause for the business improvement districts in your area? You may not ever know you have them, but let's give them a big round of applause because there's 9 of them or 8 of them, and they're awesome.
Okay, one last question, and that is, it's Burger Bash starting today, I think. How many burgers are you going to have in the next 10 days?
I did the math on this.
Okay.
It's 24 hours a day, 2 burgers a day, 2 burgers an hour. That's 48. Minus, what I have to do to sleep and work and everything else. I think about 612.
Perfect.
Probably,
okay, great.
I'm going to go out and get one out here now. Burger Week's a great fun week, right? So there's a lot of stuff happening. And it may sound like it's just a sort of a spiffy thing to do, but it's important for the economy as well. Thank you very much.
It is, and I'd encourage you all to go out for lunch, not only for dinner. So thank you very much, Mayor. Very much appreciate that. I do have a couple of more speakers. The Chamber does very much look forward to working together to support our local businesses and help them recover from the last 2 years. We'll continue to advocate, of course, to keep tax increases at a minimum, especially as businesses get back to their feet and reopen fully to the public. We're also eager to support the municipality as they get their processes in place for the new powers from the province to build and sustain affordable housing in the city, an exciting development the Chamber's long advocated for. Before I hand it off to Wendy, I have a small plug, and that is our spring dinner is happening next Wednesday night. So we have a lot happening next Wednesday, Tuesday, the premier, Wednesday, the spring dinner. You will hear about some incredible breakthroughs in healthcare. I don't know if you know healthcare is important, but the government tells it is. Let's come and learn about some of the important breakthroughs in healthcare that are happening right here in Halifax and in Nova Scotia, from curing cancer using COVID-19. Now there's a strange thing to say, to learning about radioactive marbles, all sorts of fascinating things. Registration closes tomorrow. I'd love to see you all there. Thank you very much, and over to you, Wendy.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's not the first time this week the mayor has made me a little misty-eyed about our great city, and thank you for sharing your vision with us. It is now my pleasure to invite my friend Ross Jefferson, President and CEO of Discover Halifax, to the stage. Discover Halifax is Halifax's membership-based tourism marketing and sales organization. As President and CEO, Ross leads the Discover Halifax team, who are dedicated to the promotion and development of Halifax as Canada's premier destination for travel and tourism. I want to thank Ross and his team for their hard work supporting Halifax's tourism and hospitality industries during the pandemic, and for continuing to be an amazing partner and friend of the Halifax Partnership. as we all work together to sell Halifax to the world and lead growth here at home. Over to you, Ross.
Thank you very much, Wendy. Equally back Halifax Partnership, an amazing partner here for many of the institutions here in our community. Good afternoon, everyone, and again, thank you, Wendy. It's my great pleasure to be with you here today to launch our newest program called Take the Lead, and to formally recognize our 2022 community champions under this new program. Now, probably at your feet now, there is this little blue booklet. I would encourage you to pick it up and even while we're speaking here, to take a quick peek through it. This is about the new program we're launching, but let me give you just a little bit of a background. Every year, Halifax plays host to a wide portfolio of conferences, meetings, major events, and these span from small to large, regional to international, and across a broad spectrum ranging from business meetings to sports and cultural events. These events don't just bring economic benefits to our community. In many cases, they bring global leaders to our region, which can lead to investment and opportunities beyond the conference itself. They also help to connect and position our businesses and our industries as global leaders, and they provide cultural and social benefits to all of our citizens. Whether it's the North American Indigenous Games, the Canadian Country Music Awards, or hosting a small conference focused on global battery technologies, these events put Halifax on the global map and bring value to our community. In an average year, our agency, along with our partners like Events East and our hotel conference venues, will submit around 200 or so formal bids competing and putting Halifax at front. And we're proud that we're successful in about 50% of our bids. What you may not know is that most of these events happen because of somebody within our own community has made a connection for us during that bidding process. This support may be as simple as providing us an insider tip, or for an important conference that we should go after, or making an important connection or phone call advocating for Halifax in their professional association or in their network. Others may volunteer to sit on host committees and provide assistance in the design and development of the program itself. What you should know is about half of the bids we submit were won as a result of a local champion here in our community. The Take the Lead program was created with 3 objectives in mind. First, it's meant to bring awareness to the benefits of events and inspire individuals to consider helping their community in bidding or attracting events and conferences to the region. And I bet that every individual person here in this room, you belong to a professional association, you sit on a board of directors, you have an opportunity to participate in these types of opportunities. It brings opportunities to your community, and it can bring opportunities within your own network as well. We hope that this program may inspire you to consider how to do that. Second, the program is meant to help those who may not think about being a champion, to let you know that there's services to help. Encourage you to take a look at the website takethelead.ca, learn more about this process. In fact, in many cases, all we need is your connections. We can help prepare the heavy lifting of preparation for the bid and the action. But what I like most about this new program that we're unveiling today is the opportunity to formally recognize and thank those who have stepped up to take the lead and who have helped us in the past. This year, we've created a new award to recognize these champions, and it is our intention to award a new service pin developed in their honor each year to deserving recipients. I really want to refer you again to this brochure on your tables to learn about the new pin, the new award, and the artist, Amy. Amy, if you could just stand up today. We'd love to thank you. Amy was a part of a design competition with NASCAD and has done a beautiful design. And Amy, you've got an amazing career, I'm sure, coming ahead in your profession. Thank you very much, and thank you to Jeff Nearing and the team involved in developing this program very much. So with this right now, we've got a short video to introduce our 2022 recipients of the Take the Lead Award.
Hey! You and me, hey! Let's get together now, you'll see just how this life is supposed to be. Hey! Come on!
Now I'm going to invite the mayor up to join me, and we're going to hand out the inaugural award this evening to the 4 individuals that you've seen in the video. And I'm going to invite them all to join us up on the stage together. So please welcome to the stage Laura, Jason, Kelly, and our own Pat. Please come to the stage. Please join me in thanking the champions for this year. Please, again, take a look and just a short little read about the profiles of the volunteers that have contributed to helping us take the lead. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Now, before we do part, we actually have a 5th award that this individual is not aware of, and he's actually just leaving the stage right now. This is a bit of a surprise to the mayor, but Your Worship, we have an inaugural award we'd like to recognize you with as well today. As many of you would probably not be surprised, the mayor participates extensively. I've heard him be referred to very often as the chief salesperson or the chief marketing officer, yes, of Halifax. I've had the pleasure of being at a number of pitches. The mayor has joined us at NAG in Montreal. We'll be at, next week, we'll be at the ECMAs, Country Music Awards. In fact, the list obviously goes on and on and on, so I won't list it all. But I know that this passion comes deeply from his heart. He gives a lot more than just a typical mayor gives, and I want to thank him and ask you to join me in thanking the mayor for his contributions as well.
Ross and I are walking the red carpet next week at the ECMAs in Fredericton. We're going as the Blues Brothers. You can figure it out.
Wow. Thank you, Ross, for your hard work on Discover Halifax's Take the Lead program, and congratulations to those who received pins. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your leadership and your commitment to rolling up your sleeves and doing the hard work required to make Halifax one of Canada's and the world's best cities. Your efforts and the work of your colleagues on Regional Council and CEO Jacques Dubé and HRM staff drive Halifax's continued success. Let's continue to work together to build the inclusive, vibrant, and welcoming Halifax that the mayor described in his remarks. We all have a role to play in Halifax's future. Now, to hear more about what's next for Halifax, I invite you to join us for the 2022 Halifax Index on Friday, May 27th from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. at Pier 21 for a report on Halifax's economic progress over the past year and an introduction to the measures we'll be tracking for our new economic strategy. You can register at halifaxpartnership.com. And finally, thank you to Vanita Savani and RBC and Ross Jefferson and with Discover Halifax for your support in making today's event possible. And a special thank you to Patrick Sullivan and the Halifax Chamber of Commerce for co-hosting with us. We value our partnership with you and the work we do together to help businesses and our city thrive. I'm already looking forward to working with you on next year's event. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. So wonderful to see you all, and have a great day.